Welcome back to another episode of Look What Jess Found. On this channel, I primarily do penny customer wrapped hunts slash searches on the channel, right? That's primarily what I'm doing at this point in the channel's evolution. And you would think, right, that it would be, I would think that it would be very challenging. And sometimes in the back of my mind, I'm like, how do I keep making an episode basically every day about the same subject matter? Like, how's that even like, come on, man. It's like saying math, right? You do it, little kids do it for a year, and then they stop, right? They do it for, half hour, Monday through Friday. If they even still, I don't even know. Does the kids even do math anymore? I know they don't do script anymore. I don't even know if they do penmanship, right? Because it's tablets and all that. So I don't even know what people do. But when I was a kid, you took math. And addition was 1 year. Then maybe it was the end of the year you started subtraction. Then the next year was subtraction and multiplication, something like that. Anyway, but I do not find any difficulty with doing a fresh and new episode every day. I just don't. I don't know how to explain it. And I have a very, very small workspace, which if you watch most of my videos and you here and there, you'll catch a glimpse of my my desk with all my stuff on it. I got all my things around, and and then I have another little desk on the side of the desk where I have other stuff there. And from this little command center here, I do everything, everything that's work related, um, and downtime related. 'Cause I watch my YouTube videos sometimes here and stuff like that. So today, for example, usually I'll just have a penny roll sitting on the desk. But I know that you guys don't, not you guys, if you watch all my videos, we're up to, today is episode, oh boy, that'd be good if I knew that first, right? Huh. 253. Ah, okay. 254. 253 was the last episode. And then I did three more on just on episode 253. I did three. That's, man, I'm telling you, man. 3 episodes on the research and organization of the pennies from episode 253 plus other pennies. I didn't do 3 more episodes. I did 3 more videos. I didn't even count those as episodes. It's crazy. So this is episode 254. And when you go to the bank, if you're lucky, I'm telling you, I went to quite a few banks now. There's a lot of M&T banks in Pennsylvania. Watch this. I'm gonna look it up. How many M&T banks are in Pennsylvania? I already start. No, is it 189? It says plus. It says plus ATMs. So I don't know what that means. Which? How many? I put how many banks? Let me put branches. M&T is proud server, blah, blah, blah. Which bank has the most branches? It doesn't even say. PNC has the most branches? How many M&T locations are there? Well, and I guess it says there's 700 branches, I guess, in the U.S. and there's 1,800 ATMs. So I don't know how that adds up into. It didn't give me how many. It didn't give me the answer for branches in M&T Bank. Maybe I'm in the wrong. Maybe I typed it wrong. But it said 189 189 M&T. Oh no, how many? 189 M&T Bank branches and ATMs. So I don't know what that means. Maybe that means there's 100 of them. But even 100 branches in one state, that seems like a lot. That would be like a few per county, and maybe little counties have one and bigger counties have 4 or 5. I mean, so I've been to a lot of different branches. That's my point. And they'll give you these bags. But a few branches didn't, I had to ask for a bag. They were going to let me walk out with handfuls, like 5 or 6 pounds of pennies. So these are the bags typically that you're going to find at a bank. And it had the little extra sticky thing at the top. And the bank should really, if you're having, more than 4 or 5 rolls, they really should offer. It's a courtesy, it's a service. Especially if you're, a member of the bank, they should really provide you services. But so this one here, this bag, and I can tell that every bank will use different bags. Very few times do I get the same exact bag from the same exact branch, if you can believe that. And actually, the last time they gave me, which I was super happy about, they gave me UPS bags to help me out, because it was a lot of pennies, which is great because now I know. Even a couple years from now, I could look at those bags and I'll be like, I remember a couple years ago that I got those bags from that branch around this time a couple years ago. I'll remember that. So those are things that if you're not really out and about, if you're not serious into penny, you're never going to know any of this stuff, right? And I like to give some behind the scenes. I do this every once. I'll say hi, good morning, and I'll talk. And so I mix it up. And you would think that maybe this would get boring. But it's actually the opposite of that. We have to get Jesus. It's actually the opposite of that. This prevents boredom, right? Because I like to stay active. I like to do things. I like to keep busy. And there's only so much cleaning you could do, cooking, exercise. You have to. I'm not really big into watching TV. My wife's here. She has off, and we're gonna watch football. And if we really want to go nuts, there's 3 games on. Football games could be about 3 hours a piece between the everything. Beginning and all that. The next one starting on a Sunday during football season. If you could watch probably football, there might even be an early game. They don't play football before 12. I guess not. I don't even remember from last year. I guess not. For some reason, I felt like maybe there was an 11 o'clock game on some days. Maybe there's not. But it's from 1 o'clock until the last game is 8:15, which will go to 10 o'clock, 10:30. So you could watch football but that's only during the football time. And I really can't watch 10 hours of football. I don't think so. So it does not get me. I do not get bored. This is my organization. I've changed this little box here. These are the boxes that you get from Walmart that they have mystery packs of like Pokemon in. And look at this. They fit. I wonder if they fit 4 rolls If they fit four, I mean, I have the paper roll in the front here. Let's see. No, they do not fit 4 tubes. They don't. So I got super lucky that they hold 3 tubes and a paper roll. And I'm going to put 3 more tubes back here that I'm going to label with something different. So I keep I continuously adapt, improvise, and overcome on a regular basis. I went from using gloves, no gloves, to big gloves, to different types of big gloves, to different types of small gloves. And I ended up with these, which I don't recommend because they're slippery and they're very difficult to hold pennies in. But I've been doing it for so long. You see, like even now, the first time I'm holding a penny or two in here, it's difficult. But this is one of the enjoyments of having a hobby that is so intricate. People have websites and they have super detailed, crazy. That mean they study penny errors, Wexler's, Konica, Everref, copper coin. I mean, and the list goes on, and you could find tons and tons and tons. This is such a wide and diverse hobby that some people even do this for a living. So no, I don't get bored. And a matter of fact, I could even see at some point this getting to the point where I have, like, imagine, well, these I bought, right? These I'm making. So I went from buying them to making them. It's like cooking. You go out and eat and you're like, wow, this food tastes so great. Maybe I'm going to start doing some rest. And then you start cooking. I mean, could you ever stop cooking? Would someone say, oh, I'm bored of cooking, I'm not going to cook anymore? No, you cook. Once you learn how to cook, you probably cook for the rest of your life. It's a skill that's usable forever. And I mean, at some point, see, this is when it's going to, and let me tell you, at some point, they're going to stop making, United States is going to stop making pennies. When that day comes, this hobby is going to explode. You would think it would die, right? You would think that once the United States stops making pennies, that the hobby would die. It I've been doing retail commerce for so long that I know that once something becomes scarce, people want it more. And when they stop making these, the United States starts making pennies. Now, if anybody's from Canada, maybe you could speak to that. But I'm gonna kind of hold the United States on a different par than Canada. Um, that's all. I mean, United States, we're nuts about our hobbies. I know Canadians are nuts about hockey and maple syrup. And I don't know what else. But in the United States, we are bananas about everything. And I've sold a lot of retail, and very few things go to Canada. But pennies, coins, forget about it, man. When they stop making these, now you might say to yourself, how much of an uptick would it take, right? Let's say you have thousands and thousands of pennies that you've developed your hobby into, right? Like Tushed Gabby he's really collecting copper. I really very hardly ever see him get into errors. I mean, forget about it, man. He has so many pennies that whatever he didn't do, if he starts to do in errors, it'll be absolutely bananas. Because I think he has, I can't remember. He tells you every once in a while how much in weight he has in copper, but I want to say he has like tons or a ton, something like that, like 1,000 pounds or thousands of pounds of copper. he could probably at some point when they stop making, they have stopped making copper pennies. When they stop making pennies and they become more collectible, he'll probably be able to do like unsearched penny rolls or tubes or something. He could probably separate them by day. Man, forget it. He could do it now if he wanted to, but I'm telling you, when they stop making pennies, this hobby is going to become something different. It's going to metamorphosize. Anyway, so I spent 15 minutes talking about how interesting I find penny roll hunting, and this was supposed to be the beginning of the episode 253. Yes, 254. Excuse me. But I can just go on and talk about the hobby and how diverse it is and how much I'm interested in it, and the things that I've learned and how much I've changed and the direction I'm going in and what I want to show. I could just go on and on about that. So I'm gonna have to make a separate video. It's that easy to do, and hopefully this is a what's the word I'm looking for? A word? Oh yeah, I guess I could say a word of encouragement for those who might want to get into penny roll hunting or any coin hunting, but really penny roll hunting because it's so cheap. I didn't even get into that part. I paid 50. Look, I paid 50 cents for 50 pennies. And I'm going to make a whole video. Matter of fact, I have these. I don't have them. I have them over there on the floor. Do I have a? Oh, here they go. These pennies here, which I got so lucky. I got. I don't know if I think I got all of them from the bank because I went there twice, and I don't think anyone else got pennies in between that time. So I have not 100. I'm going to say I have about 50 or 60 of these rolls, and some of them are all copper. Once I had to do 3 episodes on one roll of pennies because they were all copper. They were all in such beautiful condition that they deserved extra attention. And I made about 3 over half-hour episodes on one roll of pennies, and some of the pennies needed research. So that's just to show you how with one roll, with just 50 pennies, you can spend between, and forget about it, if you're using a microscope also, you could spend hours and hours on one, between research on one special roll of, like, if you get some of them, it doesn't matter, and I have a very good microscope that I bought several months ago, but I can't even get past where I'm at right now to start adding another dimension. See, and this is something people ask me all the time. Oh, you're going to use a microscope? When are you going to use a microscope? I can't even get I can't even get through an introduction of an episode. Do you understand? I can't even get through an introduction. I started with a topic and I thought within a couple minutes maybe I would start the penny roll. I can't even get through that. That's how much content can be created from a single penny roll. All right. Anyway, so I know I went off on a topic. I hope you enjoyed that. I know that if you're really into pennies, then this might be a little moot. But I'm going to say probably over 95% of people who watch my videos, right? Because I have. How many views have I gotten in basically 8 months, right? Because I did the other day. I went looking on in one of my videos. I went and I showed. I did like a how to, like, how to search on my channel, right? And and I showed how many videos I had. But what I didn't show was how many views. Oh, and I showed that the channel started about my first coin video was in January of 2024. I had a couple smaller coin videos in December and late October 31st of 2023 and early December of 2023. But I didn't really start doing penny roll hunting until this year, January of 2024. And that's really when the views really exploded. So and we're now in the beginning of September 2024. And this is how many views we've gotten on the channel. Almost, well, 1,000,007, almost 1,800,000 views in 8 months. So that's pretty good. I've looked at the views on some of the bigger channels, and I mean big channels with tens of thousands of subscribers who've been around for a decade, and they might have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million views. So with, we don't even have, do we have eight? Yeah, we have 8,500 subscribers. In 8 months, we're almost up to 2 million views. I mean, by the end of the year, we'll probably be up to 2 million views. Just on pennies. Anyway, I find that amazing. So people say, oh, I get suggestions all the time, but I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I can't follow through with every suggestion I get. Time is part of it, but also there has to be a nice smooth progression, right? When I try to jump from one thing to the other, I can feel the unnatural change in the development. I know that might seem a little wordy, but I'm telling you, that's what I feel. And the way the channel has been progressing, even if you want to just look at the gloves, right? From no gloves, people saying, oh, use gloves. Then I started using gloves. Then I switched the types of gloves I was using. Then I went to the rubber ones. Even something just as simple as gloves, there's been a huge progression. As far as getting pennies, there's been a progression. As far as how I organize my pennies, so I can't just go from, and I use a camera. This is why I have almost 2 million views. I can't even change the type of camera I use because it will change the format of how, right? Because I've used different cameras before for videos, and it changes the aspect rate. I mean, I know you could change the aspect ratio in your camera, but every camera has different features and looks a little bit different. So even with something like that, I would have to be careful. I couldn't just jump from the camera I'm using to a different type of camera. It would change the whole look of my videos. So and again, most of the people that come here are fresh. If someone's watching this video, there's a very good chance that they are not penny roll hunters, or maybe they're very new at it. Most people who watch the channel are novices, not even amateurs. I'm an amateur at this point. And experts, probably have a handful of experts. A couple of my members might be on the high amateur to expert level, right? Where they're using microscopes and they really are super familiar with penny errors and that, right? Otis is one of them, and Eric from keeneEyeCollectables, and the description is his YouTube channel. They both use microscopes, and they have a certain understanding of pennies that's beyond most people. Okay, so that was just a long explanation why and how the format and everything changed with the channel. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm not going to go any further. That was a long rant, but I like to do it every once in a while. And I'll see you in episode 254. God bless.